Alright. We are live. Ooh. Got my special, what is it, Yodelatihu it's called. It's a very funny brand that has cute names for their teas. This is a tea for your yodeler. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you, Saribot. Saribot, by the way, for those that don't know, is one of the bots that helps with hate raids. So Saribot, if there are known hate bots storming the chat, they will block them for me and ban them and such. Thank you, Sari. Appreciate that. And when my stream goes offline, Sari turns on emote-only mode, sub-only mode, so, like, no one can, put obscene things in the chat room and, like, report me to Twitch, because that's also a thing. So that's Saribot for you. Saribot's a friendly bot, not the hate bots. Yeah, we'll see if I like this tea. I usually don't like teas that coat my throat. But, you know, I kind of need it. My poor throat's dang. Dang? Dying. Not sure where I was going with words, but I wasn't going in the right place. Yeah, I'll wait a bit. This is only just now 2 o'clock. Wait for people to shuffle in. Hopefully, I think everyone should be able to chat now. Make sure the chat thing is like updated. There we go. Yeah, alright. Yeah, if the chat's not working, hit me up on social media and let me know. Yeah, everyone should be able to chat now. Should they so choose. We will rocket back into 2015. A time to behold. And then hopefully somehow get through 2016 to current. If not, we'll go through it over when I'm baking a cake. Because there's going to be time to chat, I'm sure. Because hypothetically, a cake shouldn't be hard to bake. But, you know, it's a new kind of cake. I haven't made before. Thank you! Welcome back to you as well. Right, I'm going to try a tea. I'm going to do it. Hopefully it's not too hot. It's hot. Yeah, it's one of those coating teas, but I don't hate it. I think I've just had a coating tea that also may have had lemongrass or something, and I just did not like that combo. I guess I don't like lemony things coating my throat. I don't know. This is, I think, okay. It's so weird. Some herbs, just like the aftertaste is like coating. It's strange. But I need it, because I'm not sick, but like, my throat might as well be. It's very hot still. Oh, yeah, that's pretty. I mean, it's still really hot, also tries to chug it. Listen, when I say I have a Zerico brain cell, I mean it. I do questionable things. Like, attempting to chug hot tea, that's always a regrettable decision I keep trying to do. Alright, I'll wait till 2:05. Okay. I'll continue. Oh, let's get some tunes. Nice fitting song called Feeling Good. Get the chat up on my phone again. Prop it on the water bottle, that'll work. Until I need my water bottle, that'll be a problem. That's right, it won't tell me where I last left off, so we're just... Alright, so we just got past Steven Universe AU. Now we're gonna get the canon stuff there. With the most hysterical music in the background. That's fine. I don't think my son does. Right. 2:05. Let's get moving. Alright, so welcome back to those that have returned. And hello to those watching afterwards. And yes, it was very good soup. And here's Time, wonderful person who made the hat we saw earlier. And also had some of the characters that we witnessed. Alright, so... basically... this music's almost distracting me. I'm like trying... I'm gonna skip this only because it's... this is better, okay. It's just very distracting in my brain. So, in the canon story, right, so we have Bonehill, I don't know what he's doing. He's technically a protagonist, he's helping Thunder, who's a multi-elementer, and all the multi-elementers are like artificially made by shoving spirits into them, so they have like another spirit living inside them with another element, like that whole deal. It's basically what Bonehill was doing as a villain before, but just time other people are doing it. I don't know. Anyway, so that doesn't matter. It does kind of, but Bonehill at some point dies. I don't remember how, and he doesn't either, and it probably doesn't matter, but he dies at some point in that story, for some reason. And he's just chilling in the spirit world, like, he's just hanging out, because it's accurate, honestly, to what he would do. And all of a sudden, there's this bright flash of light, and whatever spirit realm, I don't know exactly what it looks like, he's just existing. And this bright light, and Zeriko comes crashing through. And again, Zeriko is in a completely different, not timeline, but like in the future in the timeline. Like 300 years, I think, was like the gap. So you get Zeriko crushing in, Bonehill doesn't know who he is, and Zeriko's like unconscious. Like, there's a whole thing in Zeriko's story, something he was about to die, so he got sent back in time. Only his soul got sent back in time, though. His body was just there in his book. I don't know what's going on, and that's fine, because I don't think I did that either. And so Bonehill's like, hello, can I help you? And because Zeriko's soul is not supposed to be in this timeline, there's like an antivirus program in the spirit world, like, trying to get rid of Zeriko because he's not supposed to be there. Very Doctor Who-esque, honestly. And so Bonehill, being the hero technically that he is, I guess, saves Zeriko, like, takes him up on his back and like, carries him, and runs away from the antivirus program. They run into a character who was a villain sort of in the story. I don't know what he was doing either. He was also a spirit that was living in another character. I don't know, I think he helped them get out, but had his own intentions with that. I don't know. But anyway, Bonehill's Zeriko's spirit, basically. Not sure if that's related to like the spirit forms we saw earlier here. These, I don't know if these are actually what I was imagining, but anyway, so they're spirits, and they get shoved into this other kid, and basically the kid becomes a multi-elementer, with Bonehill and Zeriko's spirit, who, you know, fire and ice, which is a whole sort of fiasco in of itself, because Bonehill and Zeriko don't get along, and even just being thrown together, Bonehill's like, I don't know how to deal with Zeriko. Zeriko just came from, like, Trauma City anyway, from his story, so he wakes up from unconscious crying, and Bonehill's like, oh, hello. Or I don't know how to deal with this. But this drawing is significant, because this, you can barely, like, I didn't finish it, clearly, because cuddles are hard. But this was Bonehill and Zeriko once they escaped Spirit World shenanigans, and they were just kind of resting in, I guess, the mind, soul host of this kid that they were in. It wasn't Thunder, this was one of Thunder's friends. And, like, resting. And so this is Bonehill, like, holding on to Zeriko, because again, he just, like, saved Zeriko. And it's just cute! Like, my god! I drew a cuddle scene in 2015, unheard of. Like, I didn't start drawing cuddles really until 2018 between the two, only because cuddles are hard. But like, this is just, I just saw this and I was like, oh my god, I never knew I drew this. Like, that was the best thing. So I'm like, I forgot I made this entirely, and I honestly still don't remember making it. So, super significant. First cuddle, love to see it. Holy shit, adorable. So that's why I had to, like, pause for that. So now we have more Steven Universe, where Bonehill's, like, pulling his sword weapon out of his face. gems. That's how gems do things. Let me just make sure my chat is updated. I know. I mean, here's the thing. They hated each other once they woke up. But this is Bonehill. Bonehill doesn't know who Zeriko is, or that he's gonna clash with Zeriko's personality aggressively. So he's being kind and sweet to him right now. But the minute they wake up, they don't get along. And unfortunately, I have nothing written of it. This is just, I'm just pulling this out of my memory files in my own head. So they're not there yet. They still hate each other this era, kind of. It's also weird, just like 2014, but just in a different way. But yeah, it's a brief moment. Brief moment of cute. Yeah, can I help you, Star? Can I help you? Do you want to say hello? That's too bad. You're gonna say hello now. Here's my kitty. Here's my beloved. Hi. Little grumpy woman. Are you a grumpy woman? You want to sit on my lap? Is that what you want? You cannot climb on my computer. I see you. You are looking at it. Yes, Star's cameo. Yeah, her name is Star. Hello, Baba. Yeah, she's a grumpy old lady. She's only like 12, but that's pretty much an old lady for a cat. You wanna go in the window? What do you wanna do? You just wanna sit here? Okay. So yes, here's some Steven Universe stuff. So that was basically the only thing in the canon story that really went on. But then we're gonna get to outside of canon. Honestly, it is. Yes, she loves the acknowledgement. Yeah, if you're gonna get interrupted by anything, it should be interrupted by, like, an animal, because, yes. Alright. So what do we have next? So here's more of the Steven Universe fusion between them. And then there's 100 more followers. I'd be so scared I'd be getting, like, hate rated if I got that much jump in something, a jump in views. But yeah, so here's their fusion, angry, because again, like I said before, that's how they fuse, is when they're angry. Didn't realize, like, the super short shorts. It's just, like, clicking in my brain. They had 4 arms, too. I just never finished them, which is fair. Arms are hard. At least they were for the media back then. But here's some Zeriko. We'll get to the combos later in a bit, by the way. Like, we'll get there. I'm just going through the drawings I have that may or may not be in order. I don't remember. But here's me trying to do Zeriko expressions. I love the tiny one over here. He's just little man. I love whatever he's trying to do. Yeah, expressions were hard. Drawn by characters, accurate, hard. Okay, so you want the window? Is that what you want? Hold on. Go around the microphone. Go through the blinds. There you go. There we go. See, the music stopped. Yes, it did. Let's set it up again. Here's a drawing of Cat Bonehill. Like, again, Bonehill's no longer a cat in this era. I just wanted to draw him. And it's just really fun to reimagine his cat form and everything. So that's just a fun little drawing I wanted to include. More Zeriko expressions, getting better. Zeriko had a very more round face. Like, his face is very, like, round but triangular and, like, just more... He has almost scrawny noodle vibes, except the fact that he is strong and dehydrated. But yeah, I still love this. Me trying to figure out his nose. It's just very cute. Silly man. More Zeriko expressions. I did not know what I was doing with his hair either. That's a big thing. Ooh, face. I know, that one's my favorite. I loved that one I drew. I'm like, this is it. I drew him. This is him. What? You want to go back in my lap? Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're on a rolling surface. Come here. My gosh. You're a problem child. Yeah, it's just very fun to see how I was trying to draw the expressions back then and how I draw them now, like in the comic. Like, I'd love to do like a comparison thing between that. Let's see, what next? Oh yeah, so here we get to conversations. This is one of my favorite ones that isn't cringe or problematic worthy. Zeriko just being like, yeah, I wish I had wings. And Bone's like, if you had wings, we'd be in a lot more trouble. Zeriko's like, stop crushing my dreams, Bonehill! Bone's like, that's a pretty pathetic dream. Zeriko's like, you're a pathetic dream. Bone's like, given I am not a dream, I can't be offended. Zeriko's like, well, whatever you are, now you are, and you're a pathetic one. Bone's like, your arguments are getting you nowhere, you realize. Zeriko's like, well, maybe if I had wings, I could get somewhere. And Bono just turns away from him. I'm like, okay, babe. Like, Zeriko is so bad with comebacks, but that's his best one I think he's ever made in his whole life, and I love it so much. It's really funny, too, because 2015 Zeriko still definitely had differences to Current, but the way he talks is eerily similar. Like, he has a very similar mannerisms. He would probably say this. Like, I don't know if they'd have the exact same conversation, of like, very jokingly, that this was more hostile, because they were not on good terms, but, like, it's great. So I think then we're gonna get into... Not yet, okay, so we're still going through some art. So, fun fact, this is when I, as a Christian, became, or at least my first step to becoming affirming of the LGBTQ community before I realized I'm arrow-ace agender. That's fun. For those that don't know, I am also agender. I just haven't announced that everywhere, but now you know. But yeah, so I made a rainbow of DPs. So this is Yuriko, actually. This is a big thing. So remember, last time I brought up that Ultica is a combination of Zeriko's mom, Zeriko's sister, and then Yuriko, who's just this other character who then merged into Zeriko's sister, and then merged with Ultica to create Ultica. So this up here is Yuriko. She's just upside down, because it's a circle. This is what she mostly looked like. It changed over time, but she effectively always had this sort of spiky mohawk vibe. Very, you know, punk and everything. Which, you know, Ultica is very that. But as you can see, yeah, DPs were like pure white skin. For some reason. My little brain was like, wow, just straight paper white with colors is a pretty aesthetic. And I'm like, sure, yes. For a race of people, it's an interesting choice. And Zeriko, and then Trison, remember, brought up Trison briefly. He was the bully in Zeriko's story. He exists, here he is. Edgy blonde boy. Zeriko with his tiny ears. They're just so tiny. Everyone's ears is tiny, but Zeriko's being tiny is like, I can't fathom this information that I'm getting right now. Oh yes, you remember this? Oh god, it's so long ago. It's precious. I'd love to redraw this, but I don't have that many characters anymore to like complete the rainbow. So I've had ideas. Some of it includes like characters from like the future, like Bono and Zeriko's future daughter, like Kienta and stuff, and then Nakash. It's just like, it would work and it wouldn't work. It'd be all over the place, but who knows? Maybe I'll try it again. Okay, the cat is now on my lap, where she wants to be. Bonehill, here he is, smiling for some reason. This is me trying to figure his outfit, just like white jacket thing, black shirt underneath. This was his aesthetic, and now he's like inverted. He's like, if I'm not wearing black, I'm not me. Like, it's just not who I am. He never would wear white. He just would not now. They did back then because he's a hero and you need to know this. And I don't know, it just has a very clean, like, orderly vibe to it, which is what he was then. And so is not now. He was then, so. That's okay. He was more Zeriko in very simple outfits. Again, outfits are always hard for me, and they always have very casual wear. Another story was, like, very medieval themed. Like, the steampunk stuff kind of came in later. Even though it's always been a thing in a lot of my original inspirations. Steampunk-esque stuff, I just never got into it really later. But yeah. Just cute little boy. Just cute to see how I used to draw him and how flat his hair is. I draw it, like, gigantic. Like, knowing- oh, here's his tails get bigger, too. That's a big thing. Because remember we saw, like, his rope tails? Here they got big. And this was from someone who drew Zeriko. And they drew his tails huge. And I'm like, oh, I love that. That's everything. And then I just did it everywhere. That's always a thing where, like, someone draws my character and I'm like, oh, I love that. I want to do what you did. Like, that's a great idea. That's a great way of interpreting them. It's so fun to have that happen. So that's how DP's got giant tails. Here's a convo. Something, I think this was a question about Bonehill. What if you were a human or something? Again, didn't have the original post to go off of, so I'm guessing. Anyway, this is Bonehill saying, it would feel rather pathetic. If I had no choice, I would deal with it. Zeriko says, would that mean you don't have ice powers anymore? Well, I was like, it depends. Zeriko's like, could I burn you alive then? I was like, if you can catch me. Zeriko slams his fist in his open palm. It's on! Here's the competitiveness. I don't know where that went anywhere. Again, Bonehill's still a higher power dynamic right now, but Zeriko likes to try. Once in a while. But yeah. Like, again, they could have this conversation completely as a joke now. Back then, it was borderline serious. Which is basically the huge difference between the relationship then and now. Like, things did not come from a hostile place. They now come from, like, very tender affection. I love that for them. So we're getting into convos now. Yes, okay. So this is just a fun Ravelry convo. Please show me the screenshots. Okay, we're up here. Good, okay. Is this it? Right, so again, Bonehole smiling, this is when it became quite a rarity. It never was, like, a huge thing he did, but, like, again, 2014 and prior, he was much more emotive. Anyway, so this is about 2015, where he's getting really more stoic. And Bono was like, I think it was a response to, like, a drawing someone did of him, and he was like, well done. Smiley face. And seriously, he's smiling! Someone take a picture! And there's, like, a whole series of this, apparently. Bonehill, with probably a friend of mine he's close to, it's like, if you were a complete stranger, I wouldn't be doing this, giving someone a half hug. And Zeriko's like, I really need to get a camera. This keeps happening, I'm not ready. And here it is, Zeriko's a camera ready finally. So Bono, someone drew him. He's like, oh hey, you got my ears right. I feel so loved. Zeriko has camera ready. Bono's like, sorry Zeriko, I'm not smiling. Zeriko's like, dang it! Chucks camera. Hits another character that, for those of you who may know him, some of you don't, and that's fine. Gets hit. Zeriko! And Zeriko's like in fear, but just smiles finally. And Zeriko's like, oh sure, you smile now and I've chucked my camera and I'm about to die. I see how it is. Classic relationship for them. I love them. Anyway, you rarely see Bonehole smile after that, but so that's that conversation. This another friend had the flu at one point, and Zeriko was like, the nerve of the flu, I will kill it! And Hug said, friend. And Bonehill was like, it's a virus, you can't kill it. Zeriko's like, I've done many impossible things, you just watch me! Bonehill gets popcorn and sits down. I'll do just that. This is honestly something they would 100% say now. Zeriko could be like anything, I'm gonna do this thing, and Bonehill just like flips out a lawn chair, sits down, and it's like, I bet you will. And I can't wait to see how you manage, if at all. I love that for them. Cute Zeriko birthday hat. His birthday's in August, by the way, for those that don't know. Just arbitrarily decided a date when he was kind of created in July more so, but didn't get used until like a few months later. But August is just a nice summer month for the Northern Hemisphere that I'm like, yeah, it just feels like a hymn month. Here's Oldika. So this is when, so I think Yuriko and Zeriko says they're merged into one character now. And now Oldika has more of a stoic woman warrior kind of vibe, instead of like the very passive, soft mom sort of vibe. Completely flip that. Apparently she's 6 feet. Honestly, I don't remember her height now. I just know it's not that. I think she's shorter. Yeah, she is serious and usually calm, but loves running around being playful and free. Doesn't express a lot of emotion, though. Honestly, not too far off from Oldika. She definitely expresses more. For sure. Like, she's not Bonehill levels of nothing. But, yeah, definitely carefree, free, you know, the wind element philosophy vibes, you know, that kind of thing. And her dress was based off of a drawing of someone else made, not of Oldika, I just saw it, and that's what inspired me to change her design. This was what it was based on, and I don't know the original dress. Honestly, still cute, and I kind of want to draw her in that dress and see how it works. Also, she's white, and that confuses me. Like, I forget that she's, like, not always had, like, darker skin until, like, that was only... When was that? That was, like, 2018, I think. Which doesn't feel that long ago, and also was 3 years ago, so what do I know? I don't know timeline stuff. Nonetheless, so there's Oldika, so we're getting closer. The hair's getting kind of closer to the kind of sort of shaggy, round vibe. Just no scar yet on the head. Camera series. Yes, okay, so this is where we start with the OC memes, like shipping Bonehill and Zeriko. So I need to preface this a bit, that there was a convo with Bonehill and Zeriko that did ship them. And I'm not going to read it only because, again, Bonehill and Zeriko hate each other, so Bonehill's borderline abusive to Zeriko, and I'm just not comfortable, one, reading that, and revisiting it for two, because it's just, when you're used to them being so gentle and tender with each other, you're not used to, like, Bonehill throwing Zeriko through several walls, like, it's just a bit jarring. But that was a whole thing where Bonehill was shipped with one of my friend's characters. And we were having them meet for the first time and talk, and that's like a good segue to seeing Bonehill's personality then, but we'll see it later on too. His very technical, formal way of speaking. And he was reading a book, and the character, the other character was like, oh, you know, what are you reading? And Bonehill was like, reading this. She's like, oh, how is it? And he's like, oh, it's pretty good, but this character is very hot-headed, rebellious, and, like, impulsive or something. And, you know, it reminds me too much of a certain someone. And she was like, what, a girlfriend? And he, like, almost spat out his water and was like, good God, no. Just some hot-headed boy I disagree with. Nothing romantic whatsoever. Like, that's what we're working with here, folks. And then it was just a whole joke where she was like, really? Okay. And then Zeriko just comes, like, bursting through the chat room. Like, Bonehill, do you want to go and talk about with me? Or something like that. Which, Zeriko's, like, the weird variable here where he randomly is, like, trying to be nice to Bonehill or trying to hang out with him, and Bonehill just greets him always with aggressive hostility. And here's the thing, I don't blame him, because here's the thing with Zeriko in this era, he does not respect boundaries. Physical boundaries or anything. Not to a gross extent, but still not comfortable extent, nonetheless. So I really cannot blame Bonehill for avoiding him like the plague and being very hostile, whenever he's in the vicinity. Like, initially, I was like, we were all like, Bonehill, why the hell are you so mean to him? He's generally trying to be nice to you. And then, like, you know, you read the whole context of the year of how Zeriko's acting, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. That's more understandable. Still way too violent and still cruel, borderline. But you know, I get it. I get it now. So there was that whole convo, which kind of started the whole almost meme of them being like jokingly shipped, and the whole thing. Because Zeriko bursting through the wall, and Bonehill was like just so mad. Like, I'm trying to like fend off this person who thinks we're like married, and you're making it worse. Yeah, it was a whole thing. So we're gonna get to this convo. So this was, and again, the OC memes I mentioned, where it's like you have like a certain number of slots, you put a character with each number, and it starts out the question like, oh, number 1 does this, how does number 2 react? That kind of thing. So this is one where there is a slight, not safe for work joke reference. It is slight, and it is mild, but I am going to change the wording, so I'm going to read it out loud, and if you're very uncomfortable with that stuff, which I completely understand, because I pretty much am too. Again, it's like one word and it's mild, but still. Then don't read what I'm about to show. I will read it and change the wording, and if you don't care, whatever, it's fine, you can read it. But I'm going to read it out loud and change the wording. And then we're going to get to a funny meme that came out of it as I was, like, organizing all these files. But this is effectively, so I'm going to switch to the slide now. So this meme question was, Bonehill has to pretend to be Zeriko's boyfriend because Zeriko's parents want someone to go out with Zeriko. Bonehill is not amused. The meme said this, and the meme was right. So this is where it starts. So Zeriko goes up to Bonehill like, Bonehill, please, I hate you, but will you pretend to be my boyfriend? My parents want me to be with someone, and it's annoying. For the record, Ultica, I don't think, was quite the stoic woman warrior yet. In this era, she was still, like, underdeveloped passive mom character. So she would never try to force Zeriko with anyone, ever, at any point. Anyway, Bonehill agrees, which is so funny, because the meme never says he has to. Like, or it does, actually. He has to pretend, but still, like, he could say no. I feel like he could, but no, he says fine, and so he goes along with it. And what he does is almost kind of clever. So later, Ultica, again, not our Ultica, so Zeriko, you finally found a date, that's wonderful! And Zeriko starts to speak, but Bonehill picks him up bridal style and says, yes, and we're going to get married this very moment without your consent because we've already planned our honeymoon together, so nice meeting you, goodbye, and leaves. And Zeriko's like, what the hell are you doing? And Bonehill's like, now your parents will have second thoughts about you being with someone. And it's like, I mean, he's right, I guess. And to be fair, Bonehill then and Bonehill now would be very aggravated by anyone shoving, what is it, allonormality on someone, forcing them to have a romantic partner or otherwise. That would grind Bonehill's gears now, and honestly would grind his gears then too, because this is where Bonehill I start to realize, we both do, that he's Aerospec Ace. This is where it kind of starts. Just didn't have the words, didn't have the vocabulary, and didn't quite understand or know it yet, but the vibes are there. So anyway, a really funny meme came out of this, because I was just gonna try, so I already screenshotted this. And... so I already, like, screenshotted this, and I didn't want, because everything's kind of in order, sort of, somewhat organized. I didn't want to, like, re-screenshot it and, like, change the wording and stuff to just get rid of that slight reference, because it made me uncomfortable, too. But my text editor is bad in this computer. It's not bad, it's just not meant for, like, editing a picture and putting the text exactly where you want it. It does shit like this, and honestly, it's hysterical. Like, my humor is broken. This killed me. Like, I'm trying to edit it, I just have planned our honeymoon slapped on the screen in giant text. And this one, too. Like, why is this funny? Why is my humor degraded so far? Why is this the funniest thing I've seen in my life? Like, this cracked me up. I just sent it to one of my friends because I was like, I'm dying. Is this funny? Because I can't. I'm losing my mind. So anyway, that's who I am as a person. This. Anyway, so that's just a very funny thing that just happened. I was organizing everything. Neither here nor there. Kind of funny to see past Erica and Bono pretending to be together despite hating each other. More so with them today, I know. Planned our honeymoon aggressively, literally. It's an inside joke with all of us now. We're just like, planned our honeymoon, if someone yells it. And it's, oh my god. It's a mental echo of laughter. It's just so funny. Planned our honeymoon, aggressive. I love it. But yeah, like, this is what's so funny about 2015, other than, like, some of the problematic stuff of, like, borderline being abusive, and just really not nice. Just, again, Zeriko not respecting boundaries. Like, that's just something that irks me so badly, now. But yeah, them pretending, it's just, it's still really funny, because seeing how they actually, like, run their relationship, the Loki has read the Bible vibe. It does. Help. Oh my god. Anyway, so that was the first. Is this where we were? Not yet. So where were we? Right, okay, so that's where we were. So next, this meme keeps going. The meme, everyone falls in love with Bonehill, and Bono was pretending to be with Zeriko. When does Bonehill first find out, and how does he/she, fix the problem? Does Bonehill kiss someone, or ignore it? How does it go? This is all Bonehill's volition of what he's doing. So Zeriko's like, Bonehill, I just found out everyone has a crush on you. Should we just pretend to break up then, or just act faithful to each other to shoo him away? So Bonehill out here is like, didn't think I was gonna follow through with this. Makes a quick ring out of ice. Zeriko, will you marry me? Good. Shoves ring on his finger. Let's go, we have a wedding to plan. Zeriko's like, ow. Bonehill decides the only way to get rid of this is to marry Zeriko. I love that for him. Again, the meme did not tell him to do that, but he decided, for some reason, that was the way to go, and it's so funny to me. Which is so sad. I never wrote them trying to plan the wedding. I honestly can only assume it would go horribly. Because, fun fact, Zeriko hates fish. Still does, but Bonehill loves sushi, so they have, like, aggressive food, not food fights, but just, like, arguments about food, which they still do, but now it's about mayonnaise. It's completely switched. But yeah, like, they would just not be able to agree on anything. Aesthetics, food, like, they would just be at each other's throats. And now they're just like, compromise exists, and you can do it. It's a great idea. To be honest, it would have been an aggressive wedding. It would have been, this passive aggression would have been so, like, palpable. Like, it would have been awful. My god. Anyway. So then, Zeriko has bought 2 tickets to the movies for Bonehill and himself. How does Bonehill react? Does Bonehill accept? Why or why not? Bono, let's go see How to Train Your Dragon 2! I got tickets! Bono's like, you've seen that movie 5 times already. Zeriko's like, please, Cammy, you might as well force me to marry you! People across the street stare at them. Bono's like, this is different. The wedding was a mutual thing we both don't want to do, and it's pretend. Zeriko's like, then pretend you want to go to the movie with me! And Bono's like, you are such a pain in the rear. Which, truly, he wanted to say, you were an absolute pain in the ass, but he couldn't back then, because I didn't like swearing. Or a wedding speedrun to skip to the honeymoon. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, again, Zeriko has great comebacks in this age. Like, it's just so funny. I love it. Fun fact now, going to the movies, Bonehill falls asleep 90% of the time. So if Zeriko wanted to see a movie 5 times, Bonehill wouldn't care. It's a free nap. He's like, that's fine. Just know I'm gonna be out for, like, all of it. If it's a movie he hasn't seen before, he might stay awake, but it's not a guarantee, because 1, a movie theater would give him migraines, and 2, also puts him to sleep, so he's gone. The comfy seats, he's out. He's gone. So that's how it would go in current age, and Bonehill does not mind the How to Train Your Dragon movies. They're all pretty good. He's not as, like, against everything Zeriko was. Oh my god, this music, this is perfect. This is the music I associate with all of this. And then we have Bonehill and Zeriko, you know, negotiating dinner. Bonehill, in caps, yelling, Zeriko, I'm not going to talk about with you for the 6th night in a row! And Zeriko's like, but I want to eat there! And Bonehill's like, then starve! And Zeriko's like, maybe I'll go eat you alive and put you in a taco! With an S at the end, for some reason I got stuck there. Yeah, so they were horrible at compromise on everything under the sun. When now it's like, you know, you guys can eat dinner, but both eat different things. I know. It's an amazing concept. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Like, now if they want both want to eat, like, if Bono wants to eat fish, he can. He has sushi just frozen in the freezer all the time. And Zeriko will just make something else or get something else, or they'll go to a place that has both kinds of food. Usually. Like, fish, the smell of fish can also make Zeriko a bit nauseous, so sometimes they don't, but that's the case, then Bono just eats it by himself, Zeriko leaves for a bit, and then comes back. Like, it's compromise. It's not that hard, but they don't know how so much. It's almost funny that they think they have to go to the same place to eat all the time. It's like, you and I probably just don't know how marriage can work. But, you know, love to see it. Let's see what next. Oh yeah, so if you want to see, so Bonehill's also really edgy in 2015, which I forgot to mention in the canon, like, story and everything going on. He's an edgy boy. It was a whole thing where, so you know, the multi-elementers are being artificially created. Bonehill was, as a kid, his dad was like, yo, I want to sacrifice my child to this. Or something, and, or this was like slightly before that, where Bonehill's dad was trying to teach Bonehill that you should not have feelings. Or, like, especially feelings for anyone else of any kind, cause, you know, they'll die or something, I don't know. And so Bonehill, became good friends with this other, like, little girl, and they were, like, 5 or something, and Bonehill's dad was like, okay, cool, so I'm gonna kill that other child! Like, oh my! Like, not directly, but, like, send her to be turned into a multi-elementer, and I don't think that was Thunder, because they had a big age gap, so it couldn't have been her. And it wasn't like he was in love with her, they were 5, and Pono's aerospec ace and didn't know. But still, he was very good friends with her, and saw her die, but I think it was ambiguous, like, she might have lived. I honestly don't know. I'm, like, trying to remember. And so Bono's dad was like, see, you can't be close to anyone, son. It's like that vine of, like, do you trust me, son? And the kid's like, yes! And he's like, I'll catch you. And the kid falls over and the dad walks away and, like, rule number 1 in life, never trust anybody. And the kid falls to the ground. This is exactly what Bono's dad was like. God. So that was Bono's tragic backstory, and then ever since, he's like, I can't be close to people, that's bad. And we, as in Bonehill, Zeriko, and I, always joke with Bonehill, that was his kindergarten wife! Like, I'm sorry, are you still upset about your kindergarten wife? Like, my mans, what's going on? This was, like, a long time ago. Like, trauma can still, like, affect someone at that age. It's just, like, almost funny that Bonehill took it to such an extreme for his whole life till he was 25. Like, still. Like, remembered all this. Like, it's almost funny and it's not funny. It's, like, it's a weird mix, because 2015 is just wild. So anyway, this is Bonehill telling off this character he was gonna be shipped with that I mentioned earlier. And she's, like, just trying to get through to him, like, stop being edgy, I'm just trying to be your friend. And Bonehill's like, just because I'm alone doesn't make me lonely at all. If friends I make are just gonna be taken away from me, I don't see a point in making them at all. They mean nothing to me. Love is like a poison. It will slowly eat away inside you, and you'll be oblivious to its effects until it blinds you so much you suddenly feel its pain all at once and realize what has happened to you. Then it eats away further at you until you are a hollow shell of your former self. Like, okay, teenage mood blog, like, alright, sir. Okay. This is what we're working with. This is the man we got right now. Bonehill, you need help. He does. Please save him. But honestly, I'm really sad I never wrote Bonehill and Zeriko, especially, like, in canon when they did sort of meet. Like, them actually talking about it, because Bonehill lost one person and felt like he could never care about anyone again. Meanwhile, Bonehole's story was about him constantly losing people close to him, but still, like, trying to make friends and still being open and vulnerable. Not to say one is more, like, because, again, trauma affects everyone differently. A lot can shut people down. I would know of it, but still, just the different kinds of... They paralleled each other almost beautifully, and it would have been really interesting to have them kind of have a discussion and kind of, I don't know, commiserate or something, but I never did, and I'm mad about it, because it would have been great. Bono needs more optimism. He needs something. He needs therapy straight up, like, a lot of people do, to be fair. Like, that's not, like, an insult towards him, but just, like, oh, sweetie, we have things to work out. We really do. So that was the whole thing. And so there's another convo I'm not saving because, again, cringeworthy for me. But a bunch of the characters, I was role-playing with a friend, and the characters played Spin the Bottle, which for those that don't know, it's, I think, a game where, I don't know, you're at a party, people are drunk, and then you get an empty beer bottle, and you all get in a circle, you spin the bottle, whoever the bottle points to is the person you have to kiss, which, as someone who is honestly repulsed by kissing now, it's like, oh, that's nasty, I hate that. Everything about that. Oh, God. But, you know, that was the thing the characters did. That was Zerko's idea, which he would not suggest that now. It was horrible, honestly. Yeah, a lot of things like characters didn't want to be there, but were forced to, like that kind of thing, where I'm like, oh man, 50-year-old me, what are you doing? That's not kosher, that's not okay, alright. But anyway, so Bono and Zerko were in that game, because, you know, Zerko started it. And it's hysterical, in a way, because Bonehill, I think, spun the bottle, or the character he was shipped with did. Either way, they spun and got each other. And they kissed, and that was the confession scene, which is another problem for me, because I don't like kisses being the confession. I feel like more communication needs to happen, especially as someone, again, kissing repulsed. I just don't quite get it. That was the thing, especially with Bonehill. Like, that's not how Bonehill would really react. It was just like, I did not know how to write him in romantic situations, in those kind of romantic situations, because that just didn't feel like him. I wonder why. But what's so funny is that happened right afterwards. Zerko spun the bottle and got Bonehill. It was like the universe was like, the RNG system we were using to, like, spin the bottle was like, oh shit, sorry, wrong ship. Let me just, let me get the correct one here. Cat wants to come back in my lap. Baby, she's back. So then they get spun, and oh, you want the window? Oh, I hit the mic. I'm sorry. Here, go in the window then. Get out of here. And so Zerko and Bono are like, oh shit, I don't want to. And honestly, they shouldn't have had to. But anyway, that's apparently the game. And they're both like trying to get out of it, but eventually, like, they had to. Rules of the game. And so Bono gets up and is actually what initiates it. And it's funny because he goes over and they're all sitting down. So he grabs Zerko, lifts him up to kiss him, but like, and it said like Zerko was dangling, but like they only had a half a foot height difference. Like that wouldn't, Zerko would not be dangling that much. He'd be on his tippy toes at best. But like we've tried to reimagine it. Like, would he actually be dangling? It was just like the silly things I think of. I'm like, would this actually technically work? It wouldn't. But anyway, so they kiss. Bonehole's disgusted. Zerko is too, I think. I don't remember. And his response, and this is just showing how much Bonehole's changed as a character in a certain kind of committed relationship, romantic kind of, just like his development in this aerospecness, and his feelings about romance more specifically. How he kissed Zerko and he's like, oh god, I need to wash my mouth. So he kisses the character he's now shipped with and like with, like not to actually wash his mouth. They weren't making out grossly or anything, but still, it's like, that's not gonna, ew. Like we're all reading this like, that's nasty. What are you doing? That's not washing our mouth at all. That's making it worse. It's just, oh, it's just gross. I'm reminded of when 16-year-old me hard projected onto one of my characters, and I got so confused why she didn't want to kiss the person I paired her with. Why not that be? Me too, what the hell? We out here. Oh, that's so funny, and like, exactly kind of what happened. Like Bono and I are honestly really similar when it comes to feelings about, like, romance and stuff. And, gee, I wonder why. love that for us. So yeah, that was the thing that happened. And yeah, I didn't screenshot it again because it's just like, oh my god, it's just whack. But anyway, so overall, Bono and Zeriko hate each other, but they're getting shipped all the time in these memes, and it's funny. But then there's a moment of like genuine like alliance. So what was happening was Bono and Zeriko were like chasing after this bowl of ramen, and like Time, I think this is one of your characters they were chasing. I think I found this in our old convos. Or somewhere, where your character had a bowl of ramen and they were chasing after them, like, flying through the sky. Like, Bonehill was, like, ice blasting himself up into the sky. That was a thing he could do, and I don't know if he can still do that. But Zeriko jumped on his back, and he was fine with that, and they went up and they tried to get this bowl of ramen from a character. They worked together. It was a whole thing, and they ended up not getting the ramen, but afterwards Bonehill was like, I almost wished I went on longer. Testing our strengths together would be rather interesting to accomplish. And Zeriko, understandably put off by the fact that Bonehill is trying to initiate, like, any form of a tolerant relationship, is like, I'm just doing it for the ramen. I'm just doing it for the food. Which is so funny, because we were reading this, like, Zeriko, why are you putting him off so much? Like, you've always tried to, like, be his friend in this era, and then we, like, kind of connected, like, it would be really jarring, though, to hear Bonehill say this. This is, like, I forgot this happened. I found this, and I was like, this is a relic. I'd never, again, like, finding that almost not really, like, super sketchy, like, cuddle, like, picture was like, I didn't think I'd drink this. Dear God, I think I'm the only one who never made this type of content in my youth. Not even hand-holding, bless you, Rebel. I mean, it's fine. I don't remember the character, to be honest, Time. I don't know who it was. And I don't think they're around anymore, so that's fine. I'll screenshot it or, like, send it to you on Discord, and see if it rings any bells, but that's fine. Again, because I didn't remember it. I had to read it in, like, a old Skype file, which I have all of them, saved from my old computer. It's a whole thing. What? Hi, Papa. Am I yelling? Does that distress you? Maybe? Even though you yell too? Anyway, so this is like random bonding moment. You'd love to see it. And so this is a situation where the character Bonehill was shipped with was in trouble, and so Bonehill is fast walking over there, so he doesn't waste energy walking, which I don't know how that works, but it was a thing where Bonehill just wouldn't run because running, I don't know, is too expressive. Like, here, Bubba, here, let me get you over here. You're fine, my God, you drama queen. You're so funny. Yeah, we're still in 2015. We were running out of time. This is funny. But yeah, so Zeriko saw him and starts following. Like, wait, Bonehill, where are you going? And Bonehill's like, doesn't concern you. Zeriko's like, cool, I'm coming with. And that was the time they worked together as well to save the character Bonehill was shipped with. So there were moments in 2015 they did kind of work together. Hi. But it was mostly hostile. And then the pretend image, which is so funny. So here's Bonehill, there's that, I think. Right, and so here's a bit of into Zeriko's personality. This is another friend's character. It's a Zeriko, this is like them in like a school AU kind of thing. Zeriko specifically, not Bonehill. But Zeriko being like, hey, you should give me the answers for this things. Like, Zeriko is almost like a purposefully kind of slacking off character. Now he's just like, school is just hard for him. In canon, in the current canon, Bonehill and Zeriko actually do help each other out because school sucks for both of them in different ways, which is very cute and we love to see it. But yeah, Zeriko was, I just feel like school is hard. I will absolutely be the first to say that. I have so many problems because of school. But yeah, just like his attitude towards it was just different. It was just like him trying to bribe others to finish his homework when more likely he would now just try to struggle and finish it himself and then cry because he can't or get really stressed about it. Or just like ask about it in a sense, like not just be immediately like, hey, give me the answers, bye. You know, he still had a bit of a rude edge in a sense. But still similarly struggles with school. Just kind of he goes with it a different way. I'd love to, if I could draw schools, I would love to draw Bonehill and Zeriko when they were in school, in the canon. But that would take time, and I'd have to design it, and I don't want to. That's a lot of work. I'm trying to see. So this is... So here's just a glimpse of how I wrote, okay? This is a writing prompt. So Asu was Bonehill's, human AU. So I made a story, actually, of Bonehill and Zeriko for my creative writing class of them as humans. This is when I realized, and it was also the best piece of writing I did for that class. Which I wonder why. It was almost like their dynamic was kind of like my strong suit and my favorite thing, and I just didn't know it yet. So anyway, Bonehill's name was Asu, which I think I went for Google Translate on what ice meant in Japanese, and I think that's where that's from. Anyway, so this is basically Bonehill. So this is... Asu stood stoically in a long, vast stretch of grassland, his slightly shaggy jet-black hair flipping around in the wind. The grass was long but flattened against itself from harsh gusts and stampling of people. The wind whistled a soft song of morning as the sky spread out its wings of vibrant hues. Clouds stretched out in violet-pink paint strokes above the half-circle sun. The petals ripped off from flowers threw their fate into the wind, blowing them in spirals like a dance. As the wind picked up, Ace's grip tightened on the torn, bloody coat of his long-lost friend. Like, we were just talking about the gorgeous scenery. Who died? Like, my god. Gotta go for a moment to eat some noodles. I'll be back later. Oh, no worries. Go get food, friend. See you soon. Anyway, so more edgy Bonehill, and this is how I would go aggressively describing things, and it's not bad. Like, honestly, some of the descriptions, like, it's pretty damn good. I don't know how to write anymore, so this is, like, foreign to me. But fun fact, I used to write, this is kind of a glimpse of how I would write. Yeah, Bonehill and Zeriko in a whole, like, human AU, that was the whole thing. That also solidified their dynamic more. This is just Zeriko throwing his shirt off. Because this is Zeriko, this is what he did then. Also Zeriko kind of being more of a flirt, wink, I'm so stylish. He's like kind of pulling back his outer coat even though like he has another like layer underneath, sort of thing. And just, you know, imagine fancy pants. I didn't feel like drawing it. So yeah, Zeriko still had that flirty edge, which is, he lost that entirely the next year. Like, it just left him. Here's Zeriko. So this is Zeriko's, now sister, who merged together with the previous sister. I don't know, here she is. Eventually she merges into Utica. This is Ko, so this is where I was mentioning Bonehill Zeriko became spirits to some kid in canon. This is that kid, this is Ko. He's got the heterochromia. Is that what it is? He got a blue and orange eye. I'd love to do something with him, like, because Bonehill and Zeriko adopt kids in the future. Like, what if they adopted, like, a revision of, like, Ko? Like, that'd be honestly really cool. Because technically, in a way, he was their kid, kind of. They were kind of his, not really spirit guardians, but kind of that. It just really cool to explore that. But we'll see if I do. Oh, so another interesting thing, for those... that have not been here as long as some have. Zeriko was also, so originally Zeriko was shipped with that one blonde-haired girl character that made him want to be a hero, right? But then in the canon story, he was shipped with this character, Shavu. Shavu is technically still a character, but he's much more of a minor role now. We'll see. I am writing by the seat of my pants. I don't know where anything's going. But originally, this is the first blue boy that Zeriko gets actually shipped with in the canon actual story. And apparently all I have for him is optimistic, a bit awkward, brave, and calm. Here he is. He exists. In a way, and it's kind of sweet, because he was actually Zeriko's first best friend in my little mindscape, because Zeriko didn't have any friends, he didn't get along with Bonehill or anyone else, because of the way he was created and everything, and then I created Shava to be his friend. It's like, oh, that's sweet. So it kind of made sense that they would get shipped. And Shavu also had fire, it was just blue fire, and then that switched to water later on. And stuff. We're not gonna get too much into Shavu, but that's just like, that is a point to recognize because, you know, as Zeriko shipped with Bonehill, like, we're kind of getting to how did this all happen? And here's the point I don't even think. So this is finally the end of 2015. So then we're gonna get, you see this, what it says here is pre-Cramsh. So the big Cramsh in 2016 is when Bonehill and Zerko were finally the same story. Like, there were no, like, prequels or sequels. We have one story. One. One universe, one place. Here's all the characters. And so Bonehill and Zerko got into the same story. And it was so funny, like we mentioned before, that Bonehill and Zerko just, like, eloped behind my back in 2014. That's basically what they did in 2016. Like, they were starting to be tolerant of each other in my head. And let's see, do I have their bios in here? I don't. Or I screenshot it. I bet you I screenshot it. Did I? Or did I just not correctly save it? I don't know. But effectively, kind of curious I have saved. But they were starting to be more tolerant of each other. I put them in the same story. They were still like, I don't know how to feel about this guy. But because in the story they met when they were like younger kids, they had more of a chance to kind of grow up beside each other and like understand each other more like fundamentally. And next thing you know, in the next few months they're best friends. Like, I don't know what happened in my brain, just almost suddenly they were like, yeah, I like this guy. He's cool. So we did kind of aggressively go, not quite to lovers, like, per se. But, you know, still. Very, very precious. Would it be in screenshots? Don't mind me fumbling through my thousands of things. I don't know why I screenshotted that. What's this? No. Okay, so I don't have it, and that's okay. I just screenshotted parts, because I wrote these extremely long bios, and some people might remember those if they knew me back then in 2016, and I, like, posted them or shared them. Long backstory stuff. I'm not gonna, like, read them all, one, because they're super long, and two, some of it is still relevant to the current backstory of them. Yes or no? But yeah, so 2016, everything changes. Basically, I really get to the point where I'm like, what do I want to write? What do I want my story to be? And this is when the story starts to get a lighter tone. There's still a lot of angst, a lot of dark stuff, but like, not as much. The world is much more colorful, it makes a little bit more sense. A little bit more sense. Let's see what drawings we got. Here's Ultica, here she is. Still kind of got that hair. It's on the other side, that's interesting. I like flipped it at some point, apparently. But yeah, she's got the hair. She does die, still, in the story. Obviously, she is no longer dead in the current comic, because she's just too cool. I couldn't do that to her, and it's kind of awesome just to have, like, these already adult men, like, still have a mother figure, like, for Zerko, his mom, and Bonehill mother-in-law, like, still alive, to just, like, still be, like, an advice-wise giver, because you can be an adult and still need advice and stuff. And also, she's just cool, and I wanted her there. But at this point, she does die, in the backstory, for reasons. That may or may not be relevant, yeah. This is when beasts get a bit more solidified. This is also when Bonehill and Zerko, like, before they started to become just best friends in the next few months. So they still have their same job title as Athards, which is what they're called, like, pronounced anyway. And they still had to eliminate beasts. That was still their job, but they were also, like, they would help with conflicts in the city, like, between people, and, like, kind of, like, I hesitantly use, like, police force, but, like, you know, they would hypothetically help with, like, crime and stuff. Also beasts. Now their job is just beasts, and they're on a pretty low level. Then they were on a higher level. And it's really funny, because... God, what did I save here? Did I just save stuff in the wrong place? I don't know. But Bonehill, so we know Bonehill now as, like, a very rebellious, I hate authority person. But, like, in the story, he still kind of was like that, but, like, I guess he had really good skills or something. And the, like, Savani Council, which at the time was just the government council, I don't know why it's called Savani specifically, they invited Bonehill because they really needed his skills. They were like, hey man, can you come over? Which is like, you should never invite Bonehill to that position of power. He will use it against you if he needs to. Like, this man is self-preservation at his finest. Um, it's just, like, shocking to me, because this would never happen in Bonehole now. Like, that's, like, no one would give him that position for several reasons, and that's one of them. But then he was, and the Savani Council Zeriko was trying to get into it and couldn't. And was really upset about it because he had, like, some taboo heritage that, I don't know, tainted his blood or something. And there was this whole thing, the lore is so fucking confusing. Like, they had dragons, VPs did. Spirit dragons that gave them their powers and gave them cool spirit dragon attributes. But also Zeriko's dragon, he doesn't have one, but he still has firepower. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what was... the lore was still... Like, this was me, like, kind of starting from scratch and being very confused on how to do that, and that's valid. I did not know what was going on. World building was not real. It just didn't exist. But yeah, so this is kind of where Skull and Pyro really starts getting its identity. Like, we start seeing a lot more similarities to what the comic is now, effectively. So let's see what we got. Drawing-wise, here's Zeriko. His ears are getting bigger. This is when they start getting big. I think, yeah, 2016, start getting big. Not quite to where they are now, but they're getting there. Bonehill. So yeah, Bonehill gets much more chill and laid back, and I like to think a lot of that is attributed to just being close to Zeriko, because I feel like that's what that'll do to you. Much more tired. To be fair, like, in 2014, he would always, like, fall asleep in, like, character conversations, and he would just be passed out. And I guess I just kind of brought that back, and now he's hypersomniac, so he, you know, sleeps in. We see that in the comic. So he has a much more laid-back, much more tired vibe over time. He starts getting there. Yeah, love to see it. This is a cute little, I don't know, squirrel taco Zeriko. You just love to see it. Here's a sideways Bonehill. I don't know if I flipped this at some point, but if we just turn our heads, we see a very good drawing of Bonehill. That's honestly pretty accurate. He does get his horns... Is it next year? I think it's the next year he gets horns. There's his hair on display. Looks like he's still got the wacky ears. This is where he gets double ears. Is that next year? I think it's actually a 2017 drawing, because he gets double ears next year. Honestly, I go by style. I look at a drawing, I'm like, this is the style of so-and-so era. 2016, 2017 are just, like, melding together. Like, I don't know. In 2018, too, apparently I just can't recognize my style on this stage. I don't know what anything is. This was Bonehill and Zeriko, like, switched hair, which is just great. Zeriko being like, I can see! Again, he still has the hair flip. He does today. He just has it now. It's just Bonehill with it. It's just funny. It's just, you know, love this for them. Definitely should do that again, because that's fun. Oh yeah, so we didn't see much of Bonehill's beast mode thing that he had in 2015. He still kind of has it in 2016, so this is like little him. He had like those like giant ice paws. So little boxer gloves. I don't know, this is a very silly doodle. I thought it was fun. So here's with Zeriko's outfit. So you know, so Bonehill and Zeriko have basically the Athard outfits, which is the gray and the black. We see that, what they have now. This is what it originally was, and so it'd be sleeveless, and it would have an open part of the back, because that's where the spirit dragon wing shenanigans would, like, come out. And honestly, it looks great on Zeriko. It's just not something he'd want to wear, because one, his armpit hair, oh my god, here he gets armpit hair. He didn't have that at first, and freckles. He gets freckles, finally. But, like, he's the kind of guy, he's just like, my pecs need to be free. I prefer them being free. I prefer more loose clothing, if anything. Or, you know, being shirtless, in a much less arrogant, show-offy way, but at the time, this is what he had. Looks good. Just not his style anymore. We stand Freckles' house. We do. The Freckles are just so good. Let's see what we got. Okay, so this is really cool. So I actually did a compilation of all of Zeriko's faces through 2016, because 2016, a lot of stuff was changing. A lot of stuff was going on. So God bless little me for putting this together. So this all starts, so we kind of see Zeriko's nose kind of coming into itself, where he kind of has a bump in the bridge. He no longer has that. He just has a classic upturned nose, because that's just easier in my life, but Ultica still has the bump in her nose. Figuring out his hair, he had wavy, like, distinctly wavy hair for a while, and then I was like, I'm just gonna make it straight again, because I was constantly going in and out of phases of my characters need to be, like, super original. They can't, like, super look like any trope or stereotype of a character. Not stereotype, but more so trope. I wanted them to be really original, but I was also just starting to face in the fact I'm like, I just want to write whatever the fuck I want. Like, I want to write what I love. And if that's Zerko with straight hair and he just looks like your classic redhead boy, you know what, so be it. And made it happen. And he still technically has straight hair, it's just massively fluffy. Yeah, so that was the thing. That was a very short phase. You can see it was like 2 images or something. So when he starts getting freckles was about June, I think. I also have a cute comic for those on Tapas. I think it's called Tapas. Pronounce it anyway. I have a comic called Bones to Pick, and that's where me and Bonehole and Zerko are just all like interacting and having a good time. So that's what this is images from. It's a fun fact, if you want to see some older Bonehole and Zerko, especially like interacting and with me, go read that. It's cute. Yeah, I go very in and out with his freckles apparently. I don't know why they just vanished here. Here we get bigger ears. We start seeing them getting bigger. Very cute. Love to see it. And then his nose, the way I drew his nose just like changed. Like it just became a half triangle and a line. And that was his nose. And that's a style and that works. It's just like he's the only one with this kind of looking nose. Everyone else has a normal nose. So it's like, what was going on? We just don't know. So here's cute. So here's Ultica colored. And then we have a little Bonehill, a little baby. We have Yuriko, still have Trison. He was still in the story a bit. And then we have little Zerko with his wavy hair. This is wavy hair times. And yeah, very cute. We love to see it. So here's really cute. So again, Bonehole and Zerko, they're on good terms now. So this is Bonehole of Zerko's birthday. This is Bonehole smacking a pie in his face, a little thumbs up, and very cute. Bonehole's nose just looks so weird to me. It's like Voldemort nose, I don't know. But still, very cute. I just love them now, because they got a long finally. This is a hysterical thing. I did a very parody thing over the Lord of the Rings, was it, Lord of the Rings poster. I drew my characters with it, so we got Bonehill with his sunglasses. That's not what Aragorn, I think it was. That's what he's based on. He's got the sunglasses. Oh, he's about to do baseball with his sword. We got Zerko, Gandalf beard, and this is Thunder. I.e. me, basically. And 2016 is interesting because this is the last year we have Thunder alive. That sounds horrible when I put it that way. This is the last time she's in the story. Because I was realizing Bonehill and Zerko are huge chunks of my personality, if not just, like, again, headmates in my brain. So it just felt weird to have then just a me character when these characters are already, like, facets of myself. It just didn't feel right. Because really the other day she was just me, kind of self-inserted, and it was kind of hard to work it out and figure out how I wanted to be in that world. It was just a bit much. It is kind of a bit much to, how do you want to personify yourself, right? How do you want to self-insert yourself? I just couldn't find a way to make it work with a me clone. So this is the last year we have her. This is Bono, once again, lying down on things he shouldn't. This is the sword one, where he's lying down on his sword, just being like, yeah man, we're here. It's like, what are you doing? Honey, that's... Oh my goodness. Listen, he's living his best life, and I'm happy for him. What is he doing with his leg, too? He's doing a pose, and I've never noticed it. What is he doing? I love him. I love this man. Anyway. Oh, this is the Bones to Pick. Thanks for describing images. Pretty good drawing of Bonehill. I think that's why I included it. Then we saw the Zerko face. It just doesn't look Zerko. It's very strange. But here's me! My short hair. It's my pandemic hair. I haven't had long hair in years. Bonehill. Love to see it. Zerko! Yeah, this is a cute little, like, fake screenshot thing. Which I kind of started to redraw, but I kind of want to redraw it again. I don't know. He's just doing cool fire stuff. Very cute. Bonehill. This is really close. Like, this is when I was trying to give him more of a sharp jawline, and it's the only time I drew it. This is, like, really close to what he looks like now. I'm like, oh, I was trying to go for the sharp cheekbones. But not quite. Wasn't quite there. But still, like, we're getting close. Very cute. It's a rainy day. For those that have seen my Instagram, Zerko has seasonal depression, or honestly, cloudy days just, like, put him out. So, it's just a cute, them kind of cuddling, like, aww. This is when I started to kind of draw more cuddles with them a little bit. Happy American Independence Day. Forrest Zerko had armpit hair. I don't know when in the year he got armpit hair. I think I just kind of realized, like, you know what? I feel like he would not shave that. But yeah, again, very cute. One, Bonehill can have Zerko on his shoulders. My man has muscles still. He doesn't have them for long. Yeah, let us see it. Bones to pick. Here it is again. Zerko with the wavy hair. Bono, honestly, still looking pretty good. I'm shocked, like, how this is still pretty similar to him now. It's really cool to start slowly recognizing these characters. They turn to what we know and love now. I know, this is why I love talking about this. I'm like, it's like a Pokemon evolving. I'm like, oh my god, here we go. They're almost there. I'm so glad y'all are enjoying it too. This is just so fascinating and fun to me. Oh yes, here's the Bones to Pick episode with Bonehill and Zerko specifically. So there was this app called Kick. I don't know if it's still around, but this is what they were talking about. So Zerko's like, so you can kick people pictures and other stuff? And Bonehill's like, apparently it is an app for chatting after all. And Bonehill's such like a guarded pose. Like, he's still a bit uptight and tense, and it kind of shows. Like, he's listening up a little bit, but not quite. And Zerko's like, here, I'll send you one. Kick. And his face... I can't replicate this face. I don't know how I drew this, but it's perfect, and I love it so much. Just his pose. Just like, look at him. And Bonehill, just the amused face. I love it. And then another character comes in, like, oh hey, did you know there's a new app called Punch? Bonehill's like, here Zerko, I'll send you one. Punches him off the couch. This is when their banter, even though, yeah, still a little bit of violence, but it was much more playful and didn't come from a hostile place, basically. Still very jokingly teasing each other. So that's really cute. So here's the edgy drawing of Bonehill that I don't... not a very edgy artist, but here he is. You know, he's got, you know, a mask. This is his emotions breaking through. So a thing in 2016 is... So if you've seen in the comic, when he goes into the... We'll call it the Beast mode, and you'll find out more about it. But, you know, when he's interacting with the Beast, that's what happens. Before, and also when he would just have feelings... His eyes would change colors. Honestly, the color of his eyes there is really pretty. I think it was like an anger, sadness, anxiety. Like, I'm not sure what that was. I think that was more anger and anxiety sort of eye color, but honestly kind of a cool concept. It just ended up not quite working out as much for how it developed and changed. That's what it was then. So, fun lore bit. And here is Bonehill's progression. So eventually he does get blue skin. This is the Here It Happens. He does not, he updates from white boy to blue boy. So yeah, his eyes start getting more small. I start learning how to draw them and just figuring out, like, his face. Like, what is his face? This is, when I really started to get a hang of it, like, will that, like, bottom part go away? Yes, there we go. So yeah, this is where we really get that more defined long nose and, like, the narrowed eyes. But he does not get thick eyebrows until, like, last year. Like, honestly, that's very recent, so it's just weird for me. I'm like, his eyebrows are so thin. I can't see them. It's just so cool but strange. So yeah, he's getting there. And then Christmas, once again, bringing people together. And here they are. This is the first redraw of their Christmas together. This is Zerko, like, wringing his arm around Bonehill's neck and Bonehill, like, pinching his ear. Very playful. And another thing about this era, too, is at the time, Bonehill and Zerko's relationship was best friends, but a bit more brothers. Because at the time, they had a 5-year age gap. Zerko was 20, Bonehill was 25. So they were not husbands or remotely close to that yet. It's really not until we get to, like, 2019 that I adjust the age gap to make them feel a bit more like equals. And then I start considering a more committed queer platonic relationship for them. So there's, like, gonna be some drawings and concepts that will go once we get to my Insta, because that's eventually where I have all, like, my art documented. But they have more of a brother relationship, and I just want people, like, be aware of that that's not, like, yeah, they're brothers and then they got married. Like, that's weird. No. This is just what the relationship was at the time, and this is where it was starting, and it just developed into something different as I was working on the story. So just disclaimer there. That's what the relationship was at this time. So then, we have music, folks. We have music. Fun fact. So, part of some of these, a friend helped me compose. Shout out to Andy. Who's way more better at musical composition than I ever could be and figure out. But I do like to compose music on occasion. And so, this is Bonehill's theme. I might still use this. I might change it. I'm not sure. But, let's see. The volume all the way up. So you can hear this. So I came up with the main melody and harmonies, and then my friend tweaked it a bit, and actually did like this more instrumental thing. I think. Usually I'm the one I'm like, here's my songs, make it better, and then he does. So yeah, Bonehole's theme. Might reuse that. We'll see. This is Zeriko's theme. Again, I composed the main part of it, and then he changed the instruments and fixed it up and made it sound better. And I really love Zeriko's theme. This is like 100%. I would use this still today. Like, love it. Perfect. It's everything. I love it so much. So yeah, it feels weird. This is 2016. Like I feel like this is these songs are more recent, but no, like, 2016 is kind of when it kind of got finalized. And then we also have Zeriko's Lullaby. This is actually something I composed in 2014. It's just bad. The recording isn't good. But then I redid it in 2016. And, honestly, it's still really pretty. I still really like it. I did, like, edit it a bit, from my younger self's composition. This is me singing. Their themes are so perfect for each and one of them. Oh, I'm so glad you think so. I'm still really happy with how this turned out. I have found I'm not good at lyrics when it comes to writing them, but a tune I can kind of get down. So anyway, this is Zeriko's Lullaby. I don't know why I just made him a lullaby for some reason. I would honestly change what this is, not from a lullaby, but maybe something else in a much more epic and different kind of, just different kind of an, I don't know, environment. There's something else. I would use it for something else, not just his lullaby, but we'll see. I'll see what I do with music in the webcomic. Like, I don't know when this will ever come up, but still, it's fun to listen to, so here you go. So yeah, so that is Zeriko's Lullaby. I sent it to my friend, he added the echo effect to it, and for some reason the file came out with like twice as long than it actually is. But yeah, so that was one of my first, I think that was the first thing I composed, like, for song stuff back in 2014. And then revisited it. Honestly, I still really like it. I don't know if I'd actually edit this or change anything about it, other than, again, maybe composing in a different way for a different theme sort of thing, not a lullaby. But, you know, we'll see. Let's see what we have next. Here we go to shitposts. So the previous story was called Felines of Trithia, or Trelia, I think Trelia. And I told people this, that it used to be called that, and then it was called Thunder. And at this point it gets called Brohemus of Thunder, because again, Bonehold and Zerko were bros at this point. So it was Brohemus of Thunder. Trying to incorporate Thunder still in there, because she was in the title for so long, but I told people that, and they're like, that sounds like a funny rock band, and I'm like, you are absolutely right, so I drew this, and here's, like, the more spaced out version you can see everybody. So we have Zerko screaming on kazoo. We have Bonehill just doing a little electric violin over here. This is Shavu and the drums, and other characters being crazy. And I don't know, it's just beautiful chaos. I just... I just love it. I love shit posting this kind of stuff. It's just so funny, and I love it. So yeah, there you go. Feelings of Trithia, famous rock band. Love to see it. So here's Thunder. So this is kind of one of my last designs for her before I kind of just kicked her out of the story entirely. Honestly, she kind of looks like a humanoid My Little Pony character. Like, you know, like Rainbow Dash, who has that more, you know, blue toned, and then like the rainbow hair. Giving me those kind of vibes, and I knew it back then too. Yeah, was, like, her thing, she was, like, part Fangon, part... She was, like, all these different kinds of things. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself in this story. This is me also figuring out floating islands. Like, we're starting to get there. Floating islands? Yeah, that starts in 2016, yeah. What's he do? Yeah. So that was one of the last things we'll see of Thunder. Yes, we have Ultica, we got Mom. Yeah, apparently I flipped her hair. I don't know when I did that. I'm looking at this like, what did I do? Yep, here is Yuriko. This is one of her last designs before she and Ultica merged into one person, to one punk rock mom. Honestly, I still kind of dig whatever this hairstyle is. It's wild, and I'm here for it. Yeah, none of these characters matter at the moment. Oh, that's the MLP for here to remind you of Ditzy Do. Not familiar with Ditzy Do, but I will take your word for it. Is that all we have for 2016? All right. So that is 2016, the crazy year of trying to figure out stuff, and now the boys are together. Oh, 1 second, I got a message. Oh, that's Ditzy Do. Yep, I see that. I see it. Yep. All right. So. Moving on to 2017. Dart, hello! Well, we just got through a huge chunk of Bonehold and Zerko history right now. They've gone from like enemies to lovers in real time outside of the story, so we've gone through all the different versions, how we've gotten here. So right now they're actually best friends in the story, effectively. So that's where we're at. But you can rewatch the stream and see what you mentioned, because it's a lot, unfortunately, and we are running out of time for this section, so I might go into, like, once I'm baking the cake and, like, I'm just sitting here, I might go into more of the more recent developments, but we'll see how much we can speed through, because 2017, world building got figured out. Oh, here's Angry Bonehill. Here he is, for some reason. Yes, it will save. So yeah, you can watch it on Twitch, and then I'll be uploading it to YouTube. So yeah, you'll be able to catch up. Don't worry about that. But yeah, so 2017 really was just me figuring out the world building finally, and so this is more where we get the current world building and history of the world and the current conflict going on that y'all will find out about. But yes, so not a lot there other than Bonehold and Zerko. They are close. Here's their fusion. Remember Steven Universe stuff? They're coming back. Here's their fusion again. The bro TP. Oh my god, that's funny. I called it that. But yeah, their fusion's much more confident with being them because they like each other now and have a good relationship. Here's just cute Zerko I doodled. Traditionally, I made an effort. This is Zerko as a fire elemental. I was figuring out just world history stuff and all kinds of things. I know, bro TP, help. I know. We're going back. Oh, this is sideways. We have a me. We have a potato Zerko, which is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Little Zerko. We have a Bonehill. This is mostly just kind of fun old drawings. And here's Zerko, just like in a wedding dress, also with a t-shirt underneath. I think that's because I took like that old doll of him, right? I don't have it here. I moved him back. And then we just like wrapped him in a napkin and called it a wedding dress just for fun. Like, he's not getting married to anyone. It was just a cute little thing. That's why I drew him in it. And this is when I started wearing dresses. So this is where Zeriko and Bonehole's dynamic actually comes through. So this is them in a character convo with some friends on Ravelry. We're going back. So Zeriko going about colors. Zeriko sitting on his table. I'm sitting on the table now, cross-legged. I mean, green is nice. Oh, especially when it has yellow in it. His yellow-green eyes flicker. Like, it's way more lively and exciting. Like spring. New life and warmer and no more winter and all that. And purple is great, too. It's got red in it, and it's like okay blend of red and blue. He didn't know he was asexual yet. That's why he likes purple. Though tilts his head and comes to the conclusion, it's better when it's closer to red. Bonehole sips his black coffee. So, essentially, says, slightly sarcastic, joking, explanatory fashion toward the others, every color is great, or pretty good, until the drop-off which blue is depressing and awful. Zeriko's like, yeah, exactly! Bonehole, who is blue, raises an amused, inquisitive eyebrow. So he's like, oh, okay, well, remembers Bonehole's blue eyes and blue tinted skin. Blue isn't that awful. I mean, it works for you, but, like, takes a moment to realize what he just implied with prompting from Bonehole's really now gaze. Don't look at me like that! Like, all in good fun. They just jeer like this, and it's great. I love them. Fire Elemental Zare makes you think of a Cookie Run Kara. Oh, interesting. I bet it does, actually. Oh, yes, I see it. Yes, where am I? But yeah, so Zeriko, for a while, hated blue, and realized as we've seen, Shavu's blue, that blonde girl had blue eyes and was ice-powered. Now he's with Bonehill. It's like, Mom, he has a type. We all realize he has an aesthetic type. The aesthetic attraction to blue people is real, and so now he's fine with blue. He just doesn't want to wear it. It's not really his color, per se. And this is just a cute, silly drawing I drew. This was like a blog post I was writing for a site I was mentoring kids on, and I was trying to go through, like, I think this is about, like, writing what you love. Like, write whatever you love even if it makes no sense. So I'm trying to describe Zeriko, and I'm like, baby, your ears are huge. Are you a Squirtle, or... He's like, I am a starfish. And no fur. Like, again, naked squirrel tails. Like, his tails don't have fur. I don't know why. I don't know why he still has them. I don't know why anyone does, but they do. It's just like, what is he? I don't know, but I love him. It was a really cool silhouette drawing of Zeriko with fire. Honestly, still really good. Still really like it. Here's this is why I showed you the other one, because then I made this, and I don't remember why. I just thought it was funny. He's coming for you. He really saw the Blue Man Group and was like, ha ha, hi Kings, blush emoji. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Here's Zeriko. This is D&D Zeriko. This is when I started playing D&D. This is 2017. Started playing with friends. We love to see it. Star, are you trying to eat my yarn? Excuse me. Ma'am. Ma'am, sir, can I help you stop eating my yarn? She is becoming a menace to society and myself. Yeah, he is really buff. He still is very strong, but I've toned down the buffness just because, again, he has scrawny noodle man vibes, but isn't. It's that balance. A point of view you're about to go to Taco Bell. He dresses up in an iron kilt for Taco Bell, you know it. Yeah, so this is D&D Zeriko. His ears are just smaller and he has no tails. That's really the only difference. He was a half-elf, I think. But yeah. Oh yeah, this is funny. Where does this start? Okay, so it starts here. So, again, same character combo where Zeriko was talking about colors. There was this character there that was trying to hit on all the guys there, and she was trying to hit on Bonehill and Zeriko. And Bonehill, who was about to just say, we're not interested, again, they're not married yet. They're just best friends. Zeriko just, like, grabs him, like, we're married! It's like a defense mechanism. And I drew it, and I'm so glad. And we just get Zeriko, like, looking at him panicked, and Bonehill's giving the face, like, are you okay? And then Bonehill plays along and is like, apologies, my husband's very defensive. And Zeriko's like, hey! So, the jokes are coming back about marriage. They're coming back. You know, love to see it. It's so funny, all the jokes of, like, haha, what if they were married? And it's like, wait. Anyway, Ultica, here she is. This is when this hair flips, apparently. 2017, and then she gets the scar on her head. She definitely gets bigger over time. Like, I tried to give her much more chub and fat, basically, because as a very strong woman, she would need that, and that's totally fine, and it just fits her really well. Anyway, so remember, I showed remember for people over there, I know some of you weren't, 2014, I had this drawing, and it had Bonehill, it had Thunderleaf, this basic little army. Time knows exactly what this is. Uh, we love to see it. But yeah, so I redrew it, and it's just fun to see me reimagining the characters. How they probably actually would have looked like. Oh, this is me and Bonehill. Look at that. Point of view, you're a mean little owl, exactly. Mom! Everyone, my mom is here. Hello, Mom, for the last minute of the stream. But yes, this is Bonehill has horns. Oh my gosh, guys, look, he has horns now. They're so tiny. Look how little they are. I'm gonna try to get to 2017, and then I'm gonna cut the stream, by the way, so I can rest, and then we'll bake a cake and maybe go into the next year's. But yeah, it was me and Bonehill. Very cute. I honestly really want to do this again. I love drawing me with my characters in real life, and I need to try again, because I did my best. I just think I definitely could do better, as I could. It was National Taco Day. Bonehill and Zerico. Love it. Zerico and his tacos, so you're just like grabbing Bonehill. Bonehill just accepting his fate, because at this point he's very chill with Zerico. They're very comfortable with each other. Me going on hiatus, thing for Bones to pick. It sounds so fun. Honestly, it really is. It's a great. I recommend it. It's a very fun challenge. So if I go on a hiatus for Skull and Pyro, this is what I'm showing you guys. Which I will, by the way. After chapter 1, I'll need a hiatus to write stuff. But I just love this. Love Zerico screaming. Oh, there's a Fans of Trillia. Apparently, I put it in here too. Oh yeah, here's Bones to pick. I think this is the last episode I posted there. Bonehill gets his double ears. Apparently not the horns yet. We're all over the place. Me trying to draw. And I'm like, can I hit you with this to absorb your face angle so I don't have to draw it? And he's like, no. Again, our relationship has not changed. I love us. Well, here's Bonehill, you know, with that, like, marking thing we saw on his face in episode 6? This is where I was trying to figure that out. Love to see that. Here's him with his horns and expression stuff, which I love. Like, this is Bonehill. Here he is. And the only thing is his face has gotten way more sharper and triangular. Zerico, what the fuck, OMG. Like, I love that. It's still a face he would make, and has made. And his horns are so little. Oh, they're so little, I love it. And then that was writing the story you love. This is this again, so this is me. This is all the characters, which is really interesting. Bonehill was gonna be the pilot of the ship, not Zerico. Fun fact. So that got switched, where I was like, you know what, it's way more likely Zerico would love to try a pilot class, and he would remember some things. And I want to give him something to be capable at, right? Like, I don't want Bonehill to have all the information and all the skills, and Zerico not having a lot. I want to show that Zerico is definitely, like, capable. He just does things differently. And I just love he's just dangling off the ship. Like, this is so cute. Here's other characters we may or may not see. That's Shavu, by the way. He just changed appearances from the previous Blue Boy, but still blue. Here's me again with that thing of the Thunder recipe, so the story was still called Thunder. Even though Thunder is, again, no longer a character. Zerico in the gay soup, apparently. And we have Bonehill and all the characters. It's just really cute. Still accurate. This is the formula you would make my story. Just a bunch of airships, colorful everything, 4 heaping cups of lighthearted humor, pinch of dark undertones, some whack-fu and Avatar influences, Treasure Planet. Accurate. Built different, see Zerico, but just legs, arms, and head. Yep. Oh, me and Zerico, my boy, my baby. Whack-fu! Yes, you know that! Oh, I don't see, I rarely find anyone who knows what I'm talking about. I played that when I was 11, like, it's been so long, but the inspiration from that, like, game is, like, fresh in my brain. Oh my god. We gotta talk about it. Like, I have not gotten into it in so long. I want to go into it again, because it's just, like, the aesthetic, like, the aesthetic of the art, everything. That's what I aspire to be, is just that artwork. It's the geometricness, the sharp, I'm like, yes. So yeah, I'd love to talk more about it. Oh yeah, so here's I made a binder cover. It was literally just saying Heart has been really, oh my god, I'm so glad. That's one of my biggest art inspirations that, like, just keep coming back. I'm like, I'm so glad, oh yay. Anyway, Bonehill and Zerico. Zerico doing the classic, he's sitting on Bonehill's shoulders. Bonehill's stoic buff man. Oh, that's so strange to me. Zerico, fluffy pits, shooting fire, very cute. There's poor Morocco for people who know him. He's going through it. Bonehill and Zerico, I made refs for art fights. This is the first year I drew art fight and everything. Zerico's so round. And Bonehill's so big. This is so foreign to me. Also, it's a thing where Fangons are all gonna have big feet and big hands. And so your Bonehill still has big feet, but I mean like big hands. Honestly, really glad I didn't go through with that. One, I do think like huge hands are like a really cool aesthetic when they're like literally gigantic. But if you are familiar with just the aesthetic of like old like yaoi comics, like giant hands are a thing, and I do not want to be associated with that at all. So I'm very glad I did not give him gigantic hands. Or at least not to that. Mega hand, if you will. Help! I'm crying. True. Yeah, I'm like I don't want to go there. Especially once they became a ship, I'm like, yeah, no, we're not having that. Anyway, here's me trying to figure out speech bubbles. I was starting. I think this is. I'm pretty sure 2016. I was like, yeah, okay. I think we're gonna be a webcomic. I switched from novel to webcomic at this point. So it's me trying to figure out speech bubbles. So we do see Bonehill kind of with this speech bubble in the comic, briefly, when he's in that more beast mode. I was trying to think, do I want colored speech bubbles for characters? I ended up not doing that, because it just kind of cluttered everything a bit. It was just a bit too busy. Too much going on. So I only use special speech bubbles. Speech bubbles for, special things. So here's Zeriko. Me trying to figure out chin scruff. You can barely see it, but it was there. Very first year I tried to make it work, and I didn't do it again until 2 years later, because I just couldn't draw it right. This is when I was first considering it, and it's really cute. And I love it. I just was like, oh, it's too much. He just looks like 30, and I'm like, no, he doesn't. Point of view, Bonehill grabs you with his massive hands, and I see yeah, exactly. Oh, I clicked out of it. Oh no, where am I? Okay, we're about the end. Okay, cool. So this, what am I clicking? What is this? Oh, here's me, this is an art project never finished. But so, you know, like the city that Bonehill and Zeriko are in, but it has this kind of aesthetic, and this is what I was trying to kind of like figure out. Floating islands, we have this really boxy, like really cluttered, claustrophobic kind of city, like very cluttered. Cluttered, right word? Very, clustered, I don't know, airships. This is when I rewatched Treasure Planet, actually. I saw it as a kid, and I just thought of it as the movie with the weird people. Like, I barely remembered it. And then I watched it in 2017. I'm like, holy shit, this is everything. I cried. I'm like, this is my favorite movie now. I love everything about this. And so this is really when I went to Airshipville. And started working with that. Bonehill, figuring out some different ears. For a very short while, he had these big, round cat ears. Don't hate it, honestly. It's kind of cute. But with his very sharp aesthetic now, it would not work. But yeah, this is me trying to figure out, again, the cat ears, how to incorporate them, what to do. I'm not sure if that came before the double ear thing. I don't know when anything happened. I think this was before. So, I don't know if you noticed, but in the comic, I have a paper texture. Usually if you see it on a bigger screen, if you're reading on your iPad or computer, you'll probably notice it more. But I do have a Catboy Bonehill. Dart, you have no idea. He's such a catboy. When you rewatch, you will see Catboy realness. It's horrifying. But anyway, so I had a paper texture, but I wanted some kind of texture over my comic or art, and I couldn't figure out what it could be, so I was trying to pixel texture, which is a thing, and like, it works, but with how the comic is much more rustic steampunk, paper works 100% better than pixels. But again, I was trying to figure out my comic identity and art identity, story identity, trying for everything. So that looks like that is 2017. I need another heaping cup of soothing throat tea. But yeah, so let me get to 2018. A couple stuff changes. Bonehill and Zeriko. Basically, it's Bonehill and Zeriko's relationship that starts to change. Then, like, the lore in the world and the story a little bit. There's even parts of the story in 2016 I didn't get into, because my voice. And we don't have time, very unfortunately. But maybe I'll write it up one day. But nonetheless, I need to take a 20-minute break now, because I went over my time to prep baking shenanigans, which is going to be exciting. My mom's going to help me with that, thank God. And yeah, I will see you all in 20 minutes to bake a cake and maybe talk more about old concepts and lore shenanigans. It's going to be good. So yeah, thank you all for coming once again. Thank you for the new ones who came in and weren't here in the last session. I'm happy to see you here. And yeah, no hard feelings if you gotta drop out. You got stuff to do, gotta sleep. Don't stress. Take care of yourself. Yeah, all of us will be recorded, uploaded to YouTube afterwards, so it's all to go. But yes, thank you all for joining me, and it's always so fun to go through these. with you all. It's a great time. So yeah, I will see you all shortly. I'm gonna wait for the stream to catch up here before I end it off. Alright, I think I'm safe to end it. Alright, bye.